Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Maison African Motives. Still working on O-level maths, working on past exam papers and revisions as we are about to write our final examinations anytime from now. So we are not going to waste much time in this paper, June 2009, paper 1. I'm just going to explain. Now we know most of these things, so just want to explain one or two things in this paper which are most important. So not wasting much time, let us quickly rush through the first question. We are given on 1A, express 97,85. So this is a comma here in standard form. So guys, don't miss marks on this type of questions. Know that it should be 1 and 10. So just move 1 comma to the right. So to the left, sorry. So it can be 9,785 in between 1 and 10, then times 10 to the power of the commas that you moved. You only moved 1 comma, so it's going to be the power of 1. So remember that it maintains the power of 1 because you started with a positive value here. If it was a 0 comma something, then it was going to be a negative. So take note. Give your answers a decimal, find the exact value of 15,91524,0. Okay, so you see this type of questions, guys, they're just playing with us here. It's just a matter of making sure that the decimals, these commas are in line. So this one will be 24,09. Make sure, guys, do not lose marks on such typical questions there. All right, so anyways, if the commas are in line, then you can add 5 and 0, that's 5. 1 plus 9, that's 10. We've got a remainder of 1 here. 1 plus 9, that's 10 again. Comma again, because it's in line here, we give this 1 here. So you add 4 plus 5, that's 9 plus 1, which is 10 again. We give a 1 again here. That's 2 plus 2, which is 4. So it's going to be 40,005. Okay, that one is direct. Then item 2, division, it's 85,34. Divide by 17. So you can actually divide like this in an easier way. So what are you going to have here? 17 into 85. Here, that is 5 times. Actually, it's going to be 5 into 85. Then it's a comma here. 17 into 3, that's a 0, into 34 as a whole, which is going to be 2 times. So take note here. You say 17 into 3, which is then 70 into 34. Digits after the comma, you treat them 1, 1. So this one is 17 into 3, which is 0. Remainder 3, you write the 3 here on 34, on 4. So it's now 34. So it's now 17 into 34. You treat digit after digit as long as you're dealing with decimals. So I think that's what we had. Number 2, estimate to one significant figure. So what are you going to have here to 1 SF? So we have to multiply 44,6, that's 4,63 by 33,6. Okay, let's multiply. How many decimal places that we have? Okay, just ignore the commas here, just work with the whole number. So it's like 1, 2, we've got 1, 2 by 3, 3 times 3, that's 9. 3 times 6, that's 18. Got remainder of 1, 3 by 4, which is 12 plus 1, we have which is 18. Then up to 3, I've got 0 place order, 3 by 3, which is 9 again. By 6, which is 18, if a remainder of 1, 3 by 4, which is 12 plus 1, which is 13. Then we're done, we move on to 6, 6 by 3, that is 18, if remainder of 1 here by 6, that's 36 plus 1, which is 37. 6 by 4, that's 24 plus 3, which is 27. All right, so that's it. We have to add everything here. That says 8. 9 plus 7, which is a 16. Carry 1 here, that's 10 here, 18. 18 plus 7, so you have to add 18 plus 7, which is 25. That's 25 here. We give it 2. 2 plus 8, that's 10. 10 plus 3, 18 plus 2, which is 15. Give it 1 here. That's 5 and 1. Okay. So how many commas are we going to have? Remember, you're supposed to have decimal place 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 here, this comma. So it's 155,568. But take note, we are given to one significant figure. So you have to cross-check our answer now. It's 2, it's 1 here. This 5 is going to change this into 2. So it's 2 zeros. Everything is be a 0, 0 like that. So at the end, 200,000 like that is same as what? Is same as 200. Okay, so that was the idea of the question there. So I always, when you're answering questions, understand the question. Do not just answer the question. Understand the instruction, because this is paper one. One thing I want you to know is that paper one is all about the answer. Whether you know all this working is, what is important is the answer. So if your answer is wrong, everything is becomes useless. So make sure that paper one, perfect your work and understand the questions. Okay, anyways, the B part, we're given that the perimeter of a square is 36. Remember, a square, that's a shape with something like this. All sides are equal, and it will be having the angles at 90 degrees. So we'll be having something like this. All these sides are equal. So we're given that it has a perimeter of 36. Find the area. Okay. So what we have is perimeter, where we know that the perimeter is given by 4s. 4 times one side. So that is 4s. So in this case, we're given the perimeter, so we can, which means we can be able to know each side here, because there are 4 sides that you added together and they gave you 36. So perimeter being equal to 36 is equal to 4s. What is that side that we are talking about, that we multiplied by 4? So we can simply divide by 4 both sides. So which means s is going to give us 9 there. So each side is 9 centimeters. That is the dimensions of the square. But the question is, find the area of the square. So we know that the area is equivalent to side squared. That is side times side. So it's going to be 9 squared, which is 81, or 9 times 9. That is now the area. So this area is 81. Already the units are written. There's no need for you now to write 81 square centimeters. If the units are written, don't do such a condition. You just write 81, you are done. All right, so let's cross-check the other part of the question, which is on question number 3. Solve the inequality. This one was directed question. We just have to solve just the way you do when solving equations, but maintaining the inequality sign. That is what is important. So you can transpose -5, just like an equation, to the other part of the inequality, noting that it's going to change its sign to be a +5. So that means 5y is less than 10 plus 5, which is 15. So this will be 10 plus 5, which is 15. So divide by 5, both sides by 5. That means y is less than 5 into 15, which is 3. Just like that, you're done. So that was it. Giving your answer in ascending powers of x. Expand in ascending. Ascending meaning you are increasing from the least to the maximum to the greatest one. Okay, just like that. So first expand, we've got x plus 2 squared. That means we've got 2 brackets that you're going to expand. Never make a mistake to say this is x squared, 2 squared, x squared plus 2 squared like that. This is wrong. You expand these brackets by multiplying each term. So it's x and x here, which is going to give us x squared. Then we move on x and 2 here, which is going to give us plus 2x. We are done. 2 and x, which is going to give us plus 2x. Then we've got 2 and 2 here. 2 times 2, that is 4. So we can collect like terms. That means we can have x squared plus 2, which is 4x plus 4. So in this case, this is descending powers of x, but we need in ascending, which means we must be increasing from the constant term, which is 4. So we're going to start with the constant 4. You move on to the linear variable, which is 4x, then to the quadratic, which is what? Which is the x squared. So like this, that is in ascending powers of x. You start with a constant, linear, then x squared. If it was descending, this is the one that we are talking about. That is the one that was what? Descending. But in terms of ascending, this is the one that you're supposed to be having as your final answer. So guys, like I was saying, paper one, understand the question. Do not just answer for the sake of what? Answering. No, understand the question. Anyways, for A, find the product. Product simply means multiply these two together. So it's 4 over 13 times 3,25. So that's what you're simply having in this case. What can we do? So many ways. You're not told to leave your answer as a common fraction or as a decimal. So you can actually convert if you want. You can convert this to a common fraction, 13,25. So it's going to be 4 over 13 multiplied by 3,25 is same as 325 over, how many decimal places do we have? 1, 2. So it's going to be over 100. So if we reduce here by 25, that is 13 times by 25 here, which is 4. So it's going to give us 13 over 4. So as you can see, these two are the same, so you can cancel out the 13 and the 13, the 4 and the 4, and this will give us a 1. So the answer is going to be a direct 1. Okay, the B part, factorize. Okay, so the first thing, cross-check on your factorization before you do so. Is there anything that is common between 18x squared plus 15x plus 3? Yes, 3 is common here, so that's the first thing to do. Factor out 3, which is common. So if I factor out 3 here, it's 18 divided by 3, which is going to be 6x squared. 15 divided by 3, which is going to be 5x plus 3 divided by 3, which is 1. So this will be just 1 here. Okay, but after that, is it complete? No, I'm still having a quadratic expression of which I have to know, apply the longer way of my factorization, where I know I have to multiply the first term and the last term, all that part. So you're now back to your longer approach, but noting that the 3 is still there. So this will be 6 by 1 here, which is going to be 6x squared. So you just need two terms that give us the middle term, which is 5x, from these factors of 6x squared. So the factors of 6x squared, we are referring to factors such as 2x, 3x. If you multiply this, I'll definitely get 6x squared. If I add these two numbers, I'll get plus 5x. So these are the factors 3 and 2 and 3, but I can just write in favor of this 6 with 2, or whatever way that you're going to write it. It's still one and the same thing. 6x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 1. Okay, replace them in the middle term. Then we know that here, between these two terms, what is common? 2x is common. So you can factor out 2 here. That's 2x is common, which will be 3x plus 1. Here already we've got 3x plus 1, means it does not change. We're just going to factor out 1 here because 1 is common throughout. So that will be a plus 1. And this remains as 3x plus 1. So after that, I know that from these two brackets, the common, which are common, I'm going to factor out 1, but the 3 is still there, this one. 3 into the bracket, which is common, 3x plus 1. What am I remaining? 2x plus 1. It's another bracket, 2x plus 1. I'm done. So that was it, guys, on your factorization. Make sure that you actually follow these stages properly and your working is presented nicely. That is the major or important part. Your answers, they are written where they are supposed to be written. That part is actually what is needed. Number 5, the diagram shows part of a regular polygon. This is part of, it means it's an incomplete diagram that you are seeing there with an interior angle of 156 degrees. Find the number of sides of the polygon. Okay, take note here, there were so many ways. This is a regular polygon, meaning to say all these sides are equal and also all these angles are equal. Since we want to find the number of sides, there are so many ways we can use this concept. Since we are given the interior angle, remember that the interior angle of a regular polygon is given from this formula, n minus 2 times 180 degrees over n. That is equal to the interior angle, which is in this case, the interior angle is 156 degrees. So you can formulate an equation. So for n, so many ways. Okay, I'm going to explain another one. So you can cross multiply here. That will be n minus 2 times 180. N times 156, that's 156n. So you can expand brackets by 180. 180 times n, that's 180 n. 180 times negative 2, which is negative 360, is equal to 156n. So I can collect the terms to the left-hand side here. So it can be a negative. So this will be 180n minus 156n, which is equal to, transpose negative 360 to this side is going to be positive 360. So I have to subtract 180 minus 156, which can actually give us something like 24, if I'm not mistaken here. So that will be 24. N is equal to 360. So to find n, divide by 24, divide by 24, because n is the number of sides. So therefore n is 360 divided by 24. There we have to reduce, guys. 360 and 24. We can reduce by 12. Okay, by 12 here. That is 30 by 12, that is 2. 2 into 15, 2 into 30, which is 15. So our n here is going to be 15 sides, which means this polygon has got 15 sides. The easiest way was just finding the exterior angle. You know, this is also 156 here degrees. So you just find the exterior angle either here, that's your exterior angle. Also, you can find this one, that's an exterior angle. You know that exterior angle and an interior angle, this is your interior, this is your exterior, they're on a straight line. So subtract from 180 180 minus 156, we are going to get 24 degrees. And we know that all exterior angles, they add up to 360 degrees. So if all exterior angles add up to 360, how many exterior angles do we have? Which means we are going to divide by what? By 24. So 360 divided by 24, as you can see, is going to give us 15. So there are 15 exterior angles that we are talking about. 15 angles means 15 sides. So it means the number of sides is going to be 15. All right. Anyways, state the number of lines of symmetry of a regular decagon. Okay, I told you guys for any regular shape, number of sides represents number of everything. So here we need number of lines of symmetry of a regular decagon, which means we're talking about 10 sides. So it's going to be 10. All right, if it is a regular pentagon, it's going to be 5. Regular hexagon is going to be 6. Number of sides of any regular polygon represents the number of lines of symmetry and also the number of and the order of rotational symmetry of that polygon. So I think that part can be understood in a direct way, if possible. Okay, so I think that is what we had here. Let's see the other part of the question. Giving your answer in base 9, simplify or evaluate. Okay, this is what you're given to evaluate in base of 9. So remember, guys, addition of number bases. What is important is I've got 785 base of 9 plus 306 base of 9. So make sure that when you're adding, the number is not supposed to be greater than the base. Whenever it exceeds the base, we divide by the base and write the remainder on our answer. So here, going to add 5 plus 6, that is 11. As you can see, 11 has exceeded the base. So we divide by the base. 11 divide by the base. The base is 9. So it's 9 into 11, which is 1, remainder 2. So the remainder is the one that you write on your final answer. You've got a remainder of 2 in the base of what? In base of 9. This one that you see here, we add to the next digit. So it's 1 plus 8, which is 9, plus 0, which is 9. 9 is equal to the base. Whenever the number is equal to the base or greater than base, the base you divide. So 9 into 9, that is 1, remainder 0 here. So we write the remainder. Our remainder is 0. Then we give out this 1 to the next terms. So we add again 7 plus 3, that's 10. 10 plus 1, which is 11. As we can see, 11, we divided here. We got 1, remainder 2. So the remainder of 2, we give a 1 in the next term. So what is this one going to add? Here we do not have any term to add, so it's just 1 plus 0, which is 1. So it's going to be 1, 2, 0, 2 in base of 9. Okay, number B, express on item 1, 20,45 hours in hours and minutes. Okay, I think I talked about this type of equation. Say the 20 that you see here, whenever you're given as hours, or it's minutes, or it's seconds, that whole number represents the unit that you are given here. If it is minute, it means that's 20 minutes, but here is 20,45 hours. So this whole number represents the 20 hours, which are full hours that we are talking about. So for 20 hours. And remaining with, if we remove these 20 hours, we are going to remain with a decimal of 0,45 hours, which is remaining. That remainder is the one that you convert to minutes. So how do you convert hours to minutes? You know that you multiply by 60. So it's a matter of just multiplying by 60. It's now in minutes. So 0 is a placeholder. By 6 here, 6 by 3, 6 by 5, that's 5 there, which is 30. 6 by 4, which is 24, plus 3, which is 27. Our main decimal place 1, 2, so it's going to be 27,00 minutes, which is 27 minutes. So in this case, our answer is going to be 20 hours, 27 minutes. That is in hours and minutes. So that is what that was the case. What about 0, item 2? We are now given 0,0256 to one significant figure, guys. As you can see, this one is actually direct. We just have to count one significant. We are talking about one digit with the whole number that we can see, the first whole number. Where do we have the first whole number? Take note, this is 0, this one says 0, it says 0. So the first important digit is a 2, and it's followed by 5. 5 can actually transpose this 2 into 3. So this 5 is going to change this into 3. So it's going to be 0,03. That is what we now have at the end. So as you can see, it was pretty clear. Like I'm saying, guys, the matter of revision. Okay, number 7, Chipo. A, sorry, let us start with A part. A, it's express 22:35 as a time in 24-hour clock. Okay, this is actually 24-hour notation. 22, we know that this is actually 10. So it's going to be 10 dot 35 p.m. So this is p.m. guys. 12-hour notation, guys. I just hope this one we are used to it. Okay, anyways, never make a mistake to write it as 10 dot like this. This is the time that you see on your watch or on your phone or wherever that you see, not mathematically presenting. We don't present time like that. It's a dot, just one dot there. Okay, anyways, that's it. B, Chipo took 35 minutes to walk to school, which is 3.5 kilometers away from your home. Calculate the average speed in kilometers per hour. Kilometers per hour. We actually know that from our DST here, that's distance, speed and time. That speed is equivalent to distance over time. We need the average speed, which is distance over time. So S is equal to distance over time, whereby the distance has to be in kilometers, the speed in kilometers per hour, while the time is in hours. So here, what is missing is our time. The time is not in hours, so you're supposed to convert this 35 minutes to hours. How do you convert minutes to hours? We just divide by 60. So this one is same as 35 over 60. It's now in hours. Okay, the distance is already in kilometers, 3.5, but you can write it as an improper fraction. That's 3 times 2 plus 1, which is 6 plus 1, which is 7 over 2. All right, so our distance here is 7 over 2. Divide by what? By the time. The time which we converted here is 35 over 60. So you can write it as 35 over 60 like this. What does this part mean? It means we are simply dividing here, which can be written like this: 7 over 2 divided by 35 over 60. That is what it means. So remember, you can introduce multiplication by inverting the second fraction, which is going to be 60 over 35. Okay, the moment you introduce multiplication, you invert the second fraction. That's what I'm simply trying to say. So 7 into 7, that's 1, into 35, that is 5. 2 into 2, that's 1. 2 into 60, that is 30 there. 5 into 30, which is 6. So it's going to be 6 kilometers per hour. So that's 6 kilometers per hour, which is the average speed. So guys, take note of the units. It's not about just the information that you have. You just have to write as it is. Take note about the units. The conversion of units is very, very important. All right, on number 8, a man was awarded 15% salary increase if his previous salary was $5,204. Calculate his new salary. So guys, I told you everything starts at 100%. Before any increase or before a decrease, it's at 100%. So his previous salary, before it was increased, it was at 100%. That is at 5,240. Now there is an increase in salary of 15%. What do? We just add to this 100. So it's 100% plus 15, which is going to be 115. Okay, so we've got 115%. Equivalent what? We do not know. So the rest is you guys to calculate. This is going to be more. So it's 115 over 100 times 5,240. So actually, guys, we have to reduce everything, multiply, and so forth. So if you do that, you are going to obtain something like 6,026. All right, so I want you to expand and see. Multiply this. I think the idea is there. This part is now you to multiply this and that. Okay, number 9, we're given that the mean age of a father and his 4 children. So we're talking about a father and his 4 children is 8. So what are we given? This is mean of 5 people is equal to 18. The mean age of the 4 children, which means the father is not there. The mean of 4 without the father is 12. Calculate the father's age. So what do we simply do? Okay, we simply need the total, because here we are given mean of 5 people, including the father. So what was the total of their age? Remember that I told you guys mean is equal to the total, which is the sum over the number of what? Number of terms. So this is number of terms, which means how many people are there. So as we need the total years in terms of their age, because we are given the mean age. So the mean is 18 when they are 5. 18 is the mean, which is equal to the total. We do not know this total, so you can just put it as x. Over the number of terms. How many people are we talking about? The father and his 4 children. How many were there? There were 5. So it's just 5 here. So it's going to be 1 times x cross multiplication, 1 times x, that's x, is equal to 18 by 5. So guys, you must also be very clear about your multiplication, which is 90, something like that. So which means the total when they were 5 in terms of years is 90 years. Then we calculate the same thing, the total now when they are 4, because we are given the mean when they are 4, which means the father is excluded here. But here, previously, the father was part of these guys because it was the father and his children. Now, the father is no longer there. We are just left with the 4 children. What was the total number of the years of these 4 children? We still have to go back to the same formula. Mean of the 4 children is 12, which is equal to the sum now, which is the total of the 4 children, which you do not know. So this time we can use y to represent the total of the 4 children over 4. So that is what you're going to have. Remember, here's number of terms. How many people I talk about? I talk about 4. So to find y, cross multiply, that's y is equal to 4 times 12, which is 48. Yes. Okay, so what I want you to see is that the father and his children, they have got 90 years or together their years. The children are separately, their total is 48 years. So what is the father's age? So for us to just save the father's age, we are just going to subtract to say the total when the father was included, which is 90 years, minus 48 when the father is not included in this arrangement that we had. Therefore, we can actually note what was the father's age, which is, in this case, by mere looking, is going to give us something like 42 years. Yeah. Okay, so if we subtract, we're going to have 42. So that's how you simply play around this question. So guys, we have to play around this question. Understand the topics, not just the basic part, but understand everything about that topic. Okay, number 10, you're given 2 similar cones. You've got their curved surface areas in the ratio of 4:9. So take note, what are you given? This is area factor. Whenever you're given anything that has to do with area, that means we've got area factor. So the question is, write down the ratio of the height of the smaller cone to the height. Whenever you're dealing with the height, length, this is scale factor. So the question is simply saying, find the scale factor from area factor. I think this one, guys, we are now used to it. Told you scale factor, you simply have to introduce the square root. So it's square root of 4, s to the square root of what? 9. Square root of 4, which is 2, s to the square root of 9, which is 3. So that is the scale factor, which is the ratio of sides. B, take note on B what we are given. On B, we are now given that the volume of the smaller cone is 40. What are we talking about? We are talking of volume. The moment you are given volume, know that you are supposed to find the volume factor. And how do you find volume factor? If you have got the scale factor, we just raise that scale factor to the power of 3. I talked about all these things, guys. So volume factor is scale factor to the power of 3, which is the scale factor is 2s to 3. So it's 2s to 3 to the power of 3. 2 to the power of 3, that is 8, s to 3 to the power of 3, which is 27. So that is what you're going to have. So having a volume factor now is going to help you now to find the volume, because from this volume factor that you're given, since our volume factor is 8 s to 27, what does it mean? It means this is the smaller, this is the bigger one. So the bigger is the one that we are supposed to calculate here, the larger cone. The smaller one is the 8, which corresponds to the 40 cubic centimeters that you're given here. So 8 corresponds with 40 cubic centimeters. What about 27? What is going to correspond with? We do not know. So whatever that we want here, as you can see, is going to be more. So it's going to be 27 over 8, 27 over the ratio of 8 times 40 here. So what we have at the end, 8 into 8, 1 into 40, that's 5. Then you can multiply 27 by 5. So it's going to be 35 here, 5 times. Let's just multiply together, guys, so that we'll see what we can get. Okay, let me just put it here. So it's 5 and 7, which is 35. We've got 3. 5 times 2, which is okay, so that's 5 times 2, which is 10, plus 3, which is 18. So it will be 135 cubic centimeters. So that was the volume at the end of the bigger one, or the larger. Okay, number 11, you now given. Write down the next two numbers. So we're talking about 2 numbers which are in the sequence. So whenever you're given a sequence, you study the sequence and see what is actually happening. Here we are given 27, 9, 3, 1. What was actually happening? You're just dividing by 3. 27 divided by 3, that's 9. 9 divided by 3, that's 3. 3 divided by 3, that's 1. 1 divided by 3, that is 1 over 3. So if you divide by 3 here, is same as 1 over 3 divide by 3 like this, which is the same thing as 1 over 3 times 1 over 3, because this is same as 3 over 1. So it's going to give us 1 over 9. If you multiply 1 by 1, that's 1, 3 by 3, which is 9. So this one will be 1 over 9. The same thing you divide by 3. Dividing by 3 simply means multiplying by 1 over 3. So it's 1 over 9 times 1 over 3, which is going to give us 1 over 9 times 3, which is 27. So this one was going to be 1 over 27. Okay, so these are the next two numbers that we having, 1 over 20, 1 over 9 and 1 over 27. Okay, the B part, express 2,6 square meters in square centimeters. So what are we given here? We know that in a meter, we've got 100 centimeters. So the moment we square now, that will be a square meter. So this one will be 1 square meter is equal to 100 squared. That's 100 times 100, which is 10,000 square centimeters. So we're saying in a meter, we've got 10,000 square centimeters. So how much do we have here? We've got a 2,6 square meters. It's equivalent to how many square centimeters? You do not know. So make sure that your proportion has to correspond. You need 2,6 square meters. So you find that one. So it's going to be 2,6. Since this is going to be more, so it's 2,6 over 1 times 10,000. Multiplying by 10,000 simply means moving commas. You're moving 4 commas to the right. That's it. So you can move 1, 2, 3, 4. In place of these groups, you're going to put zeros here. So that's a 0, 0. So it's going to be 2,6,0,0 square centimeters, like that. Okay, so that was your conversion in square centimeters from square meters. Let's see the other part of the question, which is the question number 12. The diagram in the triangle, we are given x, y, z. That's the triangle that we're given x, y, z. The parallel lines and some of the angles that you are given indicated. Then you're asked to calculate the following angles here, which is W, V, Y here. And we've got V, Y, W, and the other one is X, V, Y. Okay, so these are the angles that we're given. So let us start with the first one, A, V, W, Y, that's W, V, Y, sorry, W, that's W, V to Y here. All right, so this is the angle that we are referring to. From the parallel lines, we can see this angle and this angle, they are the same. They are having a Z from our alternate angles, the ones which create a Z. You know that these two angles are equal. So this is 26 degrees without wasting much time. What about V, Y, W? That's V to Y here to W, which is this angle that we have. Okay. If we are to cross check here, what is happening? There is V to Y to W, this triangle that we see here. There's a triangle that is being formulated there. And we know that these two angles here, these interior angles, the opposite, they are actually equal to this one, 75, because we know that the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the opposite interior. This is the interior, but these are the opposite interior angles. So it means if we add this 26 and this angle that we are supposed to calculate of VYW, we must obtain 75. So it means VYW is simply 75 degrees minus 26 degrees. Okay, so that was the condition. So you simply have to subtract, which is going to give us something like 49 degrees. All right, so this angle that we see, this angle that we see here is going to be 49 degrees, or we could have calculated this angle W. How do you calculate this angle? You subtract from 180 since they are on a straight line. Then using angles in a triangle, what I'm trying to say, we could have calculated VWI first, which was going to be 180 minus 75 because they are on a straight line. Okay, so if we are to subtract, guys, make sure that you subtract properly 180 minus 75, which is going to give us something like 105 degrees. So this will be 105 here. And we know that angles in a triangle add up to 180. So to find this angle, V, YW, the one that we asked, we are supposed to now subtract these two angles of 26 and 105 from 180. You're going to obtain the same angle of 49 degrees. Okay, so that was another alternative. What about XVY here? We've got X to V to Y, that is, we are referring to this angle here, XVY. Okay, let us just remove some of this part that we had so that maybe it can actually be clear diagram. Okay, we've got something like this. This is the angle that we're supposed to calculate here, XV to Y. So which concept can we actually use? Just like what we saw, guys, from that concept, from the same triangle, from another triangle now, V to Z to W, this triangle that I'm indicating here, you see that the whole of this angle here, I want you to see something, the whole of this angle that I'm indicating, it's an exterior angle to that triangle, which is a combination of this 53 degrees and 75. 75 degrees plus 53 degrees, what do we get at the end? It's 8. Here, if we add, is something like 128 degrees. Okay, so if the whole of this angle is 128 degrees, and as we want to find this remaining angle out of 128 degrees, we have got what? 26 degrees that is already there. So it means we are just going to subtract from 128 degrees. So this angle here is going to be 128 degrees minus the one that we are given of 26 degrees. Okay, so if we subtract this, definitely this will be 102 degrees. Okay, so that was the angle that we are supposed to have for XVY. All right, we're gonna cross-check another part of the question, which is 13. Write down the 2 by 2 identity matrix for what identities. Guys, we're talking about just an identity matrix. You know that our identity matrix is referred to as I, which is 1, 0, 0. So I just want to test you. Do you know your identity matrix? Anyways, that's our identity matrix. Then the B part, we're given in those matrices, find the value of Q. So actually, guys, you can, you want to find the value of P and Q. You can expand your matrices. Yes, it's fine. Or you can just work with where there is P direct. Okay, honest, let us do the longer way because most of us, that's what we are used to. So you can multiply 3 by P because 3 is a scalar. So it's going to be 3P, 3 times 10, which is 30, 3 times 8, which is 24, 3 times 16, which is 48, minus, we've got minus 4, 14, 0, 4. Which is equal to, you have got 2, which is a scalar, so it's going to multiply everything inside the matrix. So it's 2 and negative 10, that's negative 20, 2 and 8, 16, 2 and 12, which is 24, 2 times Q, which is 2Q. All right, so at this stage, you can combine terms from the left-hand side to make sure that we remain with a single matrix here. So it's 3P minus minus, which is a plus. Take note, minus and minus a plus, so it's going to be 3P plus 4, 30 minus 14, which is going to be 16, all right? 24 minus 0 here, which is going to be 24. Then we've got 48 minus 4, which is going to be 44. All right, so this is what you're going to have here, equal to minus 20, 16, 24 to Q, like that. Okay, so from this concept, these two matrices, we are saying these are the resultant on the right hand side and on the left hand side. So what we are simply saying is that these two are equal. So you can equate the corresponding part here, the 3P plus 4 and the minus 20, these two, they are actually the same. So it can be an equation. Now say 3P plus 4 is equivalent to minus 20. You can find P from there. Then from Q, the corresponding elements, this 44 is supposed to correspond with 2Q. So 44 is equal to 2Q of an equation. You can also cross-check from the others that it's 16 is also 16 here, it's 24 is also 24. If these numbers, if they are different, it means that is wrong. But as you can see, they are also corresponding. So it means we are somehow you're in the right direction. So 3P is equal to, we can transpose the positive 4 to the left-hand side, which to the right-hand side, which is going to be a negative. That's negative 20, negative 4, which is negative 24. So divide by 3. That is, we can find the value of P. So P is going to be equal to what? 24 and 3, that's negative 8. To find the Q here, simply divide by 2. As you can see, we are multiplying. So Q is going to be 2 into 44, which is 22. All right, so that is what we are going to have at the end from the values of P and Q. All right, so let's check the other part of the question. Number 14, evaluate. So guys, yes, just applying your laws of indices. From your laws of indices, we can multiply each separately, or you can apply the law to say that we are multiplying the bases which are the same here. So what do you do? X to the power of a times x to the power of b is equal to x to the power of a plus b. So you add the power. So you're going to add 9 plus 2, which is 2 plus 0, sorry, which is going to be 9 to the power of 2, and that's 81. 9 to the power of 2, that will be 81. That's 9 times 9. That is the idea there. So we just that you're going to. So just have to play around these typical questions. Okay, the item 2 part, it's actually 8 to the exponent of 2 over 3. So from our laws of exponents or laws of indices, x to the power of a over b, we know that one is the bth root of x to the power of a. The b, which is the denominator here is 3, is the one that you write in the root sign. So it's going to be the cube root of 8. Whatever that you get, you raise to the power of 2. So you can write it as to the power of 2, or you can just write it as to the power of 2 like this. It's just one and the same. So here you can present it like this. X, the bth root of x, everything to the power of a. These two are just one and the same. Okay. So what does it mean from this part? We need to find the cube root of 8, a number that multiplies itself 3 times to give us 8, which is 2 to the power of 2. So 2 to the power of 2, that's 2 times 2, which is 4. All right, the B part, solve the equation. What type of an equation are we given? That's an exponential equation. 4 to the power of x is equal to 32. How do we solve such type of an equation? We have to make sure that the base are the same so that the powers will be the same also. That means we have to find the base that we can use, or that we can equate 4 and 32. Which base? That is 4, we can use base 2. 2 to the power of 2 times x, which is 2x, is equal to 32. That is 2 to the power of 5. If you multiply 2 5 times, it is going to give you 32. So since the bases are the same, it means these powers, they will be the same. So that is the idea. This you can even cancel. It's not important. You just have to equate the powers. So 2x is equal to 5, divide by 2, divide by 2. We can have the value of x here, which is x is 2 into 5. That is 2.5. So that was the value of x that you could have obtained from this one. So please make sure that you understand the questions, guys, that you are given. Answer the question. Okay, answer properly. That's it. Okay, B, the diagram above represents a magic square. So this is a magic square. So you're supposed to study that square. The sum of numbers horizontally, vertically, diagonally in the magic square. Okay, the sum of the numbers or is the magic. Okay, they are saying the sum, that is, you can add in a horizontal like this. If you add in a horizontal manner like this, you get the magic number. You can add in a vertical like this, you get the magic number again. Or you can do it diagonal, that is like this. You can take it in a diagonal manner like this. You still obtain the what? You still obtain the magic number. That's what they are trying to say. Okay, anyways, what's the question therefore from this part? That is what we want to see or to have. So the first question is, use the diagram, write the magic number. So you can choose any part of your choice to find this magic number, because you are told you can take it from horizontal, vertical, diagonal. So here I'm just going to take the horizontal, this one, 13, 8, 12, and 1. That is, just pick any way of your choice, just pick. So it's 13 plus 8 plus 12 plus 1, which is 20 here, 33, 34. That's all. It's going to be 34. Just cross-check, guys, and prove it's fine, but I think that's 34. Then the value of A. So how can we find the value of A? There are so many ways, because remember we are told that to find this same number, you can take it like boss. We now have our magic number. So it means we can take either this column like this in a vertical manner. That is, if we add 8 plus 10 plus A plus 5, we must get the same magic number, which is 34. Or you can take it this way, in a horizontal manner, you must still obtain the same answer. 2 plus A plus 7 plus 14, we must get the same magic number of 14. Or you can take it in a vertical, in this diagonal manner. This one is a diagonal here. You must obtain the same answer. That is 16 plus a plus 6 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1. We must get the same answer, which is 34. That's what they said about this magic number. So there were so many ways to find a, so just pick any way of your choice. Okay, so let's see what you're going to have. 16 plus 6 here, that is going to be something like 22 plus 3, which is 23. So it's a plus 23, which is equal to 34. All right. So to find a is going to be 34 minus 23, which is, or a is going to be 4 minus 3, that's 1. 3 minus 2, that's 1. So a is going to give us 11. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, just cross-check your answers. Here you must obtain 11. Also here your a must be 11. So just cross-check anyway. Okay. B, a number is chosen at random from the magic square, which means we are picking your numbers from this square that we have here, any number that we have, remembering that our a is 11, so you can put it there. Now it's probability. Write down the probability that it is a perfect cube. A perfect cube. Take note, not a perfect square, but it's a perfect cube. A perfect cube, you are referring to those numbers that when you determine their cube roots, is going to be a direct whole number, like cube root of 8 is 2, cube root of 1. Those are the perfect cubes. So which perfect cube do we have here? We've got 1. It's a perfect cube. The cube root of 1 still remains as 1. Okay, we've got 8. The cube root of 8 is 2. So it's a perfect cube. We've got also, let's cross-check any other. Do we have, we do not have anything besides this. Okay, so these are the only perfect cubes that we have. How many are they? There are only 2 perfect cubes out of how many numbers do we have in this magic square that we have? We have to calculate them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's simply 4 times 4, which is 16. So it's going to be over 16. That is the total. You can add 1 to each and every one. You're going to obtain 16. So you can reduce 2 into 2. That is 1 over 2 into 16, which is 8. So the probability is going to be 1 over 8. Or you can write it as a decimal, but you can even leave it like that. Okay, so that was the probability. This one, let us cross-check the other part of the question. Number 16, the above figure is made up of squares of equal size. So these are of equal size, as you can see. Find the percentage of the squares which are shaded, guys. It's a repetition of the last question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 times 5. How many squares do we have? There are 25 squares in total. And we need the percentage of the ones which are being shaded. So we have to calculate how many squares are shaded. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 squares are shaded out of the total of 25. So the percentage now you have to multiply by 100%. So that was the idea there. 25 into 25, that's 1. 25 into 100, which is 4. So you multiply 13 times 4, guys, that's 4 by 3, which is 12, if remainder of 1. 4 by 1, that's 4 plus 1, which is 52%. Okay, so that will be 52%, if I'm not mistaken. The B part we are given log m is 5, log n is 2. Find the value of log mn. Remember your laws, guys. What made you to multiply like this? It means you are adding the logarithms, log of m plus log of n. So that means you can substitute log m. What is the value of log m? Log m we are given as minus 5, so it's minus 5 plus log n. Log n is what? Is 2. So it's going to be minus 5 plus 2, which is minus 3. Okay, so that is the value of log mn, which is minus 3. Okay, item 2, that's log m, to the exponent of negative half, like that. That was the question. So remember from your laws of logarithms, guys, I told you that p log m is equal to log m to the power of p. So if you are given a power like this, you have to drop that power like p log m. So that's the same thing. We've got minus half is a power here. So we're going to drop this minus half. So it's minus half log m. Once you're at this stage, what does it mean? You are multiplying minus half times log m. What is the value for log m? Log m is minus 5. So you're going to multiply to minus 5. Okay, so you can multiply this. What are you going to obtain? Minus 5 is same as minus 5, 1. So it's minus 1 times minus 5, which is 5. over 2 times 1, which is 2. 2 into 5, that is 2.5, or you can just leave it as 5 over 2, or you can write it as 2.5, whatever way that is best, but that was the idea of the question. All right, so let's see the other part here, what we are given. Okay, I think that's it. Let's cross-check the other part. Number 17, a plot whose area is 60,000 square meters is divided into residential stands, each of 950 square meters. Each stand is 950. So the question is, find the number of stands obtained. So you just have to divide, guys. 60,000 divide by 950. So you have to divide, guys. In this case, guys, I'm not gonna like divide everything there, but that's what you're supposed to do here. Just divide here, this and this. So it's 60,000. I'm just going to use my calculator, but you're not supposed to use a calculator, guys. As for you, 60,000 divided by 95, I'm getting something like 63, comma something like that. 63. Actually, it was supposed to be 63 like this. 63 and 3 over 19, this is what I'm obtaining. So what does it mean? It means that the total number of stands which are going to be obtained, this is the number of stands, which is 63. So we're going to obtain 63 full stands. That is the one that you're going to have in this case. So they are 63. And this is the remainder of the land that we are having. And that is now what they're asking you to say, what is the area of the plot that is left now, which is the leftover. So this is the leftover here, which is 3 over 19. So how now am I going to know this remainder of 3 over 19? I'm just going to say out of 63, each was at 950. So I'm going to multiply 63 times 950. Okay, so you multiply that one, 63 by 950. You get something like 5,000, 58,000, 59,850 like this. So this is what you get in terms of the 63 total stands. They have 59,850 square meters out of 60,000. So how much is left? So you have to subtract 60,000 minus 59,850. All right, so we have to subtract in this case. That's gonna be what? 0 and 0 here, that's a 0. 0 minus 5, which is 5. And here, that's 1, which is gonna be 10. 1 minus, that's 10 minus 9, which is 1. 1 here, that's 6. 10 minus 10, that's a 0. 6 minus 6, that's a 0. So we're going to remain with 150. So the remainder is 150 square meters. So the remainder, you're simply saying out of the number of lands that the stands which were obtained, which is 63, what was their total in terms of square meters? Then you subtract from the total of land that you are given of 60,000 square meters. So that was actually the tricky part about this question. So please, guys, like I'm always saying, please understand the question. Do not just answer the question. All right, anyways. B18A, find the angle through which one turns from 27 degrees under 3-figure bearing to south 82 degrees west in an anti-clockwise direction. What is the angle that is going to be turned by that person? Okay, let's have our diagram. It's going to be like this. Remember, this is bearing, so it's going to be like this here. All right, so we've got our poles here, north, east, south. Hey guys, you see what is happening? South here, and this is west. All right, so the first one that we are given is a 3-figure bearing. Guys, I told you, whenever you see a 3-figure bearing, it was taken from the north in a clockwise direction. So this 27 degrees that we see, it was from the north in a clockwise direction, so which means it's in between north and east. Let's just say somewhere here. That's where we have got our 28 degrees. Sorry, 27, not 28, but 27 degrees. Now, someone is turning from this angle that we see of 27. The person is at this point. I want you to see where the person is. The person is at this point here. That's where the person is. Now, the person has to turn from this angle, the person has to turn south 82 degrees west in an anti-clockwise to an angle of what? from this angle to south, we are now given the resultant after turning. If the person had to turn up to south 82 degrees west. Okay, where do we have south? 82 degrees west. This is our south here, and this is our west. So it's in between from south going to the west. Remember, three-figure compass bearing, it tells you the direction also from south to the west. So it's from south going to the west. So it's maybe somewhere here like this, south going to west like this. This is the resultant of the angle, this one. Okay, so that's where we have our 82 degrees from south in the west direction. So the person turned until is this point. That is where the person is now, from this point to this point. But when this person turned, the person had to turn in an anti-clockwise direction. So remember I said, guys, the person is at here. This is where our A is. This is where now the person is after turning in an anti-clockwise, which means if this person had to turn in an anti-clockwise, remember, clockwise, you move like this. This is clockwise. Anti-clockwise is now the opposite. So this person had to move from the A point here, covering the 27 degrees again, back to this point. That is the angle the person had to turn until he is at this bearing. So what you have to ask yourself is that, what is this angle? They are simply asking you, what is this angle here? So remember, from this point to this point is already 27. From this point to this point, from north to west, it's 90 degrees. We just need to know the remaining of this angle here. Remember, this is 82. The whole of this angle was supposed to be 90. So you subtract 90 degrees minus 82 degrees, which is going to give us something like 8 degrees. So there is a remainder of 8 degrees here. So the total angle the person turned is going to be the total of 27 plus 90 degrees plus 8 degrees. Okay, so all you need is to add 90 plus 8, which is 98, plus 27, and you obtain something like 125 degrees. All right, so the person had to turn 125 degrees from this point A to this point A1 in an anti-clockwise direction. So that was, yeah, this type of a bearing. You need to understand, actually, this one, it actually needed you to understand the concept of bearing, to know what is bearing. Okay, anyways, the B part, we are now given that there is a lorry which is there, and this lorry carries 608 boxes, each of mass 42 kgs. Calculate the mass of the load in tons. Take note, correct to the nearest, correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, how many boxes do we have? There are 608 boxes. 608 boxes, each has got a mass of 42 kg. So what is the total? We just have to multiply by 42. So I'm not going to waste much time, guys. I want you to multiply that one. 608 by 42, you get something like 25. If you multiply properly, you get 25, 536. These are kgs. That is the total in kgs. But the question is, what is the mass in tons? The mass is needed in tons. So you have to convert from kgs to tons. What is the relationship between kgs and tons? A ton has got what? 1,000 kgs. So if a ton has got 1,000 kgs, what about 25,500? We just have to write under kgs. 25,536 kgs is equivalent to how many tons? You do not know. So what you need is this, so it's going to be more, so it's 25 whatever over 1,000, so it's 25,536 over 1,000 multiplied by what? A ton. So this will be in tons now. So as you can see, we're dividing by 1,000. We simply need to move 3 commas to the left. That is 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 25,536 tons. Okay, but after that, the question is instructing us to 2 decimal places, So if you are to round off to 2 decimal places, what does this part mean? It means our answer is going to be 1, 2. So it's to be 25,5. 6 is going to change this 3 into 4. So it's going to be 25,54 tons. So you see some of the mistakes that we do in exam, and it's paper 1. And remember, paper 1 is correct answer only. So make sure that your working is actually presented, and your answer, your final answer is fine. Okay, Number 19, triangle KLM is such that KL is equal to MK is equal to 8, and there's an angle of 4. In the diagram, draw an accurate, okay, actually here we're supposed to draw an accurate diagram, like accurate. Take note, it's not a sketch, this one. You can have your sketch like this, okay? You can just have your sketch here. This is a sketch, then you have the accurate now. So on our sketch, we've got KL. There's an angle, which is, we can write this angle on the base. You can just say 40 degrees. That is K. So let's say K. So it's going to be KLM, LKM, LK. So you can just do it like this, isn't it? Yeah, LKM. So say that we've got 40 here, and KL, K to L, it's 8 centimeters. MK, M to K is also 8 centimeters. So the question is, in the answer space, draw an accurate. To draw is not to construct. You're actually drawing like this. This is what you're going to do. So I'm just going to put here just a simpler approach to this part so that you can just understand. So I need a ruler. So you actually need a ruler here and a protractor. These were the two things that you needed. Not a compass, because you're not constructing, you're drawing, so you need a protractor there. So what you do is that you just draw, this line has to be 8 centimeters in this case. Okay, so in this case, we need 8 centimeters, but because now of this part, so I'm just going to need that thing again. I'm going to need that compass just for measurements. Okay, but you just have to draw your line like this. Okay, from this line, you mark your first point to be your A. Okay, so like I said, I will just need this again. Okay, so I'm just going to mark your point, your reference point. That's where everything is starting from. So take note about this type of equation, guys. Take note. Okay, you mark a point. That point here is the one that you are referring to as what? As K. So this is where your K is located. From K to L, it's 8 centimeters. So you measure 8 centimeters here on my diagram. I can just assume my 8 centimeters on this to be somewhere here. Okay, this is my 8 centimeters. So I have to just mark, or just use your ruler. You mark, because it's not drawing, it's not construction, it's drawing this one. So you can even use your ruler to mark these points. Okay, so this is L, 8 centimeters. But now we need an angle of 40. So what do we use? We can't use this to measure an angle of 40. We actually need our protractor here. So you place your protractor nicely on the line. Make sure that this gets to cover the line, the red line that you see here. So it must cover that line just a little bit. Where is that thing to rotate? Just a little bit like this. Okay, make sure that you cover this red line and you count from in here. That's 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. So 40 is somewhere here. Okay, so this is where our 40 is actually located to this point. Okay, this one that I'm indicating, but you're not supposed to indicate like this. I'm just showing you where your 40 is located at this point. So you just mark a point at that 40. Okay, like that. You have marked your 40, it's fine like this. So from this K to this point, that is where your 40 is located. So you can even join using your ruler. All right, and it has to be 8 centimeters. Because it's a drawing, you're not constructing this time, it's just a drawing, this one. Okay, so you just have to join to this point, just a little bit passing that point, because you do not know exactly where is your 8. But along this line, that's where we're going to have our 8. Remember, this is still 8 centimeters. So you then have to mark from this point back to that point again like this. Okay, so if I mark back here, that is where I am now having the point M. So from M to L, all I need is to join from M here to L. All we need is to just join so that we can have a completed diagram. So that was to draw. Actually just something like this. Okay, so that is our diagram, and this will be 40 degrees here, and this will be 8 centimeters. Remember, I told this is also 8 centimeters. Okay, so that was it for this one. I don't know if it was clear, but that's what we just needed. And the other part of the question now, we are now asked on the diagram, that is the same diagram that we have, draw the line of symmetry to intersect with one of the sides at T. Okay, so the line of symmetry is a bisector of this angle. It has to bisect this angle 45 degrees. So you need an angle. That is a line of symmetry. If this is an isosceles triangle, remember guys, an isosceles triangle, if these two sides are equal, a line of symmetry is drawn to it bisects this angle and it meets this angle at 90 degrees. So you just need, in this case, you needed again your protractor so that you can bisect. So to bisect, since this angle was 40 degrees, now we need 20 degrees. That's a bisector now. So you just have to place at this angle. So to bisect, this has to pass at what? At 20 degrees. This is 20 degrees here. Just mark a point at 20. Then from there, you can join. All right. So by doing this, we have bisected this line, guys. Okay. So we have bisected our line by just doing this. We're just going to bisect that somewhere like this. All right. Something like this. All right. So here I'm just going to join like this. Okay, so that's the bisector now. So this bisector, it has divided this angle 40 into two equal parts. So that means this is going to be at 90 degrees, and they said it has to pass through, it has to intersect with one side at T. So where it intersects with this side ML, it intersects at T. That is where your T is located. That is what the question is trying to explain. All right, then from the C part, okay, I want to remove this. From the C part now, we are now given, write down two triangles which are congruent. So the case of congruence, guys, here we can, because these are right angle triangle, so we can try to focus on that case of RHS, right angle, hypotenuse, side. Okay, so that is what we are going to focus on the RH concept, because they are right angle triangles. So we've got right angle, hypotenuse, side. So we are saying the right angle from T here to M to it, like that one. So it can be T, M, TM to K. Okay, this triangle TMK is going to be TLK. They are just the same, TLK. So it's congruent to triangle TLK. So it will be TLK. Okay, from right angle to this side, or you can choose as long it is of order. Okay, so that was right. Two triangles which are congruent. So this triangle and this triangle, they're congruent. I don't know if there is any pair of triangles which are congruent. Then mention that part. Let me see that part. Okay. Or from the here we can even take from K. Can have it like this: KM to T. This one KM to T is actually congruent to, from K to M to T is going to be KLT, triangle KLT. So guys, I don't know which pair. If you manage to observe that one, let us know in the comment section. Maybe it's gonna help us. Okay. On number 23, we are now, number 20, sorry, we are now given, it's actually a velocity time graph here. The diagram shows the velocity time graph. We are even given, that is a velocity time graph, which accelerates uniformly from rest, that is started at 0 to 16 and so forth. So there are so many things that we have got here. The question is, first one, calculate the acceleration during the first 8 seconds. So these are the first 8 seconds. So in the first 8 seconds, the object is increasing. That's an acceleration. Remember, guys, I told you acceleration is equal to the change in velocity over the change in time. So the velocity changed to 16 and the time changed from 0 to 8. So that is acceleration. So 8 into 16, that's 2 meters per square second. This is meters per square second, or you can use points. Remember, guys, I told you acceleration, you can pick points. So you can use this one. This point here is 0, 0. This point here is 8 versus 16. So that's 8, 16. So using points, remember that gradient and acceleration, they are the same. The same way that you used to calculate gradient is the same way that you calculate acceleration. So it's the change in y. So you can even use the points x, y if you guys, I know that most of us, if I'm to use v and t, it can actually confuse you. So I'm just going to use x and y, the one that you're used to, but it's not supposed to be x and y, it's supposed to be t, v, t, like that. Okay. So you know that gradient is the change in y, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, you can just do that. Y2, that is 16, minus y1, which is 0 here, over x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is 8, which is 0, sorry, x1, that's a 0 here. So 16 minus 8, minus 0, sorry, which is 16, over 8 minus 0 here, which is 8. And we can divide 8 into 16, that's 2 meters per square second, because it's acceleration. So as you can see, we are actually obtaining the same value or the same answer. Okay, the B part now, the distance covered during the first 8 seconds. So this is the first 8 seconds. What do we have? It's a triangle. Remember, I told you guys distance is actual to, it's equal to the area. And that's a right angle triangle, which is half base times perpendicular height. So it's going to be half base times perpendicular height, which is half times the base from 0 to 8 here, that's the base, times the height from this point to this point. This is your height, which corresponds with 16. So half of 16 is 8. 8 times 8, which is 64 meters. So yes, you are calculating area, but that is distance. So you have to write it as meters. There's no square units because you are calculating distance. Okay. Then the question is the velocity of the object when the time is 18. This one, guys, be very, very sure about this. The velocity, we need the velocity this time. The velocity when the object, when the time is 18. This is 16 here. 18 is somewhere here. But we do not know the velocity that is going to correspond with this 18. It corresponds with an unknown velocity at this point. So what advantage are we going to pick here? There is this part that we know that whenever you're dealing, remember acceleration and velocity, acceleration and a gradient is the same thing, like the same way that you talk about gradient. If you are to consider from straight lines, I told you that gradient on a straight line is the same. So it means also acceleration is the same. So what you're going to do is that you're going to calculate the acceleration using the points which are complete from the last branch here, from here to this point. So you can even use the change in V over the change in T, or you can use points. This point, this is 16 versus what? Versus 16. So you've got 2 points, 16 versus 16. The last point is 20 versus what? 20 versus 0. So you can calculate acceleration. So what is the acceleration? Remember, I said you can use points, x1, y1, x2. I know that you're not supposed to use x, but use that one because, guys, because of time, we do not have time to memorize a lot of things. You just have to apply your formula. Okay, so that's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that is 0 minus 16 over 20 minus 16 also. All right, so 0 minus 16, that's minus 16 over 20 minus 16, which is 4. 4 into negative 16, that's negative 4 meters per square second. Why am I calculating acceleration? Because we said acceleration is the same. So we have acceleration of minus 4 meters per square second. And what do we have here? We are asked to calculate the velocity when the time is 18. So we are only given this point to say it's 18 according to T. And the corresponding velocity we do not know. So you just write it as 18V like this. So now what you're going to do is that you are going to add this point to these 3 points that you are, to these 2 points, which means you are now having 3 points. If you add this one, 18 versus V. Now, using this third point, you are going to relate from these 2 points. You pick any one of your choice. So in this case, you're going to say 18 and V and another point of your choice. So you can even pick this one, 20, 0, whatever that you want. If you calculate acceleration using these points, you must obtain the same acceleration of minus 4. So that makes it possible to formulate an equation now. Remember what we did to calculate acceleration. We said acceleration is equal to y2 minus y1. That is acceleration minus 4 is equal to y2 minus y1. So it's 0 minus v. So that's 0 minus v over x2 minus x1, which is 20 minus 18. So it's going to be 20 minus 18 like this. So you are using the gradient concept to say the gradient on a straight line is the same. Is the same thing with acceleration, it is the same. So by doing this, I can be able to calculate the value for v. So what am I going to have here? Minus 4 over 1 is equal to 0 minus v. That's minus v over 20 minus 18, which is 2. So from this part, what am I going to do? I can actually cross multiply to find the value of v here. That's 2 times minus 4, that's minus 8, is equal to 1 times minus v, which is minus v. So to find v, divide by -1 by -1. So our velocity at that point was 8. And this is velocity which is measured in meters per second. Take note, whenever you are dealing with velocity, velocity is measured in meters per second, as we are given our velocity previously here, it was in meters per second. So your answer also is going to remain in meters per second. So this is how actually they can give these questions. So all you need is to be very, very specific with your working. You calculate acceleration just the same way as you calculate gradient. Then you pick one. So which means someone was going to pick this point again, 16 versus 16. And that point of 18 versus v like this, you get the same answer for v. If your v is 8 like this, you must get the same answer because you are working with the same acceleration, because it's what? It's actually a straight line. Okay, so that's what we had. Let's see the other part now, which is question 21. Actually, that is question, okay, 21, sorry. Let us see question 21. All right. So there we are given the universal set. Take note about the information. You must be able to understand the information here on 21. The universal set is such that x is having elements, and these elements of x is such that it is an integer. And we are talking about numbers from 30 up to 85. So these are the integers that we are referring to, which are in what part of what the universal set. So actually this universal set is having elements from 30 because it's greater than or equal, which means 30 is involved. So we are referring to 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, all these numbers up to 85. So up to 85, these are the numbers that you're referring to. So P is a multiple of 9 from this number. So which means set P, we are referring to multiples of 9. Remember 9, 18. But we need from 45 to, from 30 to 85. So which are the multiples that you are referring to? So we've got something like 36, 45, that is 9 here, 9 by 4, which is 35, or 36 here by 5, 45, by 6, which is going to be 40, that will be something like 46, before 42 there. So we are listing, sorry, we listed 5 here, sorry, let me just remove this, it'll be 54, something like this. So we can have a 54 for 6, 63, from 63, we've got 70. Is that so? No, I'm referring to, must be 72, then 80, something like that. So that is 8, sorry, I'm mixing these numbers here, guys. Sorry for that. I'm actually mixing. We're supposed to have 9 by 6, which is 54, then 9 by 7, which is 63, 9 by 8, which is 72x, then 9 by 9, 80. Okay, we've got 85, sorry, so 81 is supposed to be there, or suppose we're supposed to be out of 85. Okay, so we're just referring to multiples here. Then Q, it's actually a set of perfect squares. From this, what are the perfect squares that we have? 6 by, that's 36. We've got 36, 7 by 7, which is 49, 8 by 8, which is 64, 9 by 9, which is 81. 10 by 10, which is 100, we can't have it here. So these are the perfect squares. R is already, we have listed the set of R is fine. So the first question was list the members of P. So that is the first item, members of P. So already these are the members of P. So this is your P here. All right, item 2, P intersection Q. We are listing what is in P and what is in Q. That is what intersection means. What we see in P, we also see those elements in Q. So we've got 36 and 36 here. So that is 36 here. What else? We've got 81 and 81. Okay, so these are the only two elements that we have, if I'm not mistaken. So just cross-check, guys. If there can be any other elements that maybe I've skipped, you just have to cross-check them. But actually, these are the elements. So it's 36 and what? 81. All right, then here we've got number of elements. B, state the number of elements. Find how many elements in the universal set from 30 to 85. How many elements are there? Because we are talking about from 30 to 85. So for you to see these elements, you subtract 85 minus 30. Then whatever that you get, you must add 1. Because if you subtract 85 minus 30, it means you are not including this 30, or you are not including 85. So to include 30 or to include 85, you must add 1 like that. Okay, so 85 minus 35, that is 5 here. This one minus this one, which is 5, plus 1, which is 56. Or you write them down, then you count them. But guys, writing 56 digits is going to take you a lot. All right, so anyways, find number of elements in Q intersection R. This is our Q, this is our R. Do we have any elements on the intersection? All right, we do not have here. 49, we do not have anything, so which means we've got 0 here. There's nothing on the intersection of Q and R. We do not have any common term that is found between these two sets, so that one is going to be 0, that one. Okay, so that was number 21. Number 22, express as a single fraction, 3 over b plus 1 minus 2 over b minus 2. So as we know, guys, it's a matter of finding the LCM, which is b plus 1 into b minus 2. So we divide b plus 1 and b plus 1 cancel. You remain with b minus 2, which is to be multiplied with 3. So it's 3 into b minus 2 minus b minus 2 and b minus 2 cancel. You are left with b plus 1, which is going to be multiplied by 2 into b plus 1. All right, so from this stage, you can actually expand brackets 3 times b, which is 3b, 3 times negative 2, which is negative 6, minus 2 times b, that's negative 2b, minus 2 times 1, which is minus 2, everything over b plus 1 into b minus 2. All right, so let us cross-check the common terms. If there can be common terms, 3b and 2b, that's 3 minus 2, which is 1, so it's going to be 1b, which is b. Minus 6 minus 2, that's minus 8. So take note, guys, minus 6 minus 2, you add, then you take the common term, which is negative, over b plus 1 into b minus 2. So that would be your answer. You can't do anything at this stage, just have to leave it like that. All right. The b part of the equation is 2 minus x over 15, which is equal to 2 over 3 plus x over 5. So you've got many ways either to clear fractions by multiplying each and every term by the LCM, of which 15, 3, and 5. The LCM is 15. So you multiply this one by 15. You multiply this term also by 15. You multiply this term also by 15. So it's 15 and 15 cancel. You remain with 1. So it's 1 times 2 minus x. So take note, we are supposed to multiply by 1. Then here we do the same. The 3 into 15 cancels is 5. So it's now 2 by 5, which is 10. Okay, we do the same thing here. You can cancel 5 into 15, that is 3. 3 by x, which is going to be plus 3x. So this is plus 3x. So expand brackets by 1 here. 1 times 2, that's 2. 1 times minus x, that's minus x, which is equal to 10 plus 3x. So from this part, you can collect like terms. You can choose to transpose whatever way. The minus x to this side will be plus x. 10 to this side is going to be negative 10. So that means we've got 2 minus 10, which is minus 8, is equal to x plus 3x. This is same as 1x, so it's 1 plus 3, which is 4x. So to find x, simply divide by 4 both sides. So this can cancel. So therefore, our x is going to be negative 2. All right, so that was the idea of the question in this case. As we can see, guys, that's what we needed on number 22. Number 23, we are now given in the diagram ABC is a semicircle. We are given a semicircle OA. Here we are given that O to A OB, OC, these are that's the radii, so this that's the same, that's radius concept. O to A is the radius, O to B is the radius, O to C is the radius. And we are given that AEC from A to C is 14, so half of 14 is 7, so which means here we have got 7 centimeters, 7 centimeters, 7 centimeters. That is what it means. So the first question was find B or C, that's B or C. All right, so this question needed you to apply this concept from your circle geometry. If you are to complete this circle like this, you will see that BC is a chord which subtends angle at the center, also subtends angle at the circumference. So this angle at the center is twice angle at the circumference, so it's going to be 27 times 2, which is 54 degrees. So this was going to give us 54 degrees. All right, so that was it from this concept. And also you must know that if this is 27, this also is 27 because we're saying radius, so base angles are the same. And that means it's an isosceles triangle. Also, this one is an isosceles triangle, as you can see. All right, so the B part, using as much, so here we've got 54, sorry, using as much information the information given below as is necessary, calculate the area of the shaded part, or calculate the shaded area. Okay, so the shaded area, remember what we have here on our shaded area. What is this? The part that we are having, we are from a sector. This is a segment that we are given, so it's just part of a sector, which is a segment. So to find the area of a segment, we have to find the area of a sector. So this shaded part that we are talking about is actually equal to the area of a sector. So that's area of a sector, the whole sector minus area of triangle, this triangle, because you have calculated the sector, then you calculate the area of the triangle that we are referring to. Now we are referring to triangle BAC minus area of triangle BAC. So area of the sector, remember area of a sector is given by theta over 360 times pi r squared. That is area of a sector, whereby theta is the angle that is affecting the sector. We are speaking about this whole sector here from A to B to C, this whole sector like this. All right, so that means it's 27 as our angle. There's the one that you're going to use. So that is 27 over 360 by pi r squared. Take note, you are given pi here on top. Take pi. In this question, take pi to be 22 over 7. So remember I told you, you use the given pi. So it's 22 over 7 times r squared. The radius now of the sector is from A to C or A to B, of which from A to C is 14, which is the same as from A to B, which is also 14. So it's going to be 14 squared, or 14 times 14, minus area of a triangle. We are talking about area of triangle BAC. This triangle BAC from B to A to C, that is the triangle that you are going to remove from that sector. And area of a triangle is given by half AB sine theta. Remember, that's half AB sine theta, a non-right angle triangle. So it's going to be half of A, which are the sides 14 and 14. So it's half of 14 times sine theta, which is 27 degrees. All right, so that's what you're going to have here. So it was a matter of now reducing this part here. We have to reduce until we get the exact answer now. All right, so let us reduce and see what we are going to have at the end. Actually, this is paper 1, remember, so guys, we have to reduce in a much better way. By 9 here, 27, that's 3. 9 here into 360, that's 9 into 3 into 36, that's 40 here. Okay, we can reduce also by 7 here. Remember here it was 14 times 14, so it's 7 into 1 of the 14 is 2. 2 here it's 1, 2 into 40, that's 20. We can reduce again by 2, that's 7, by 2, that's 10. All right, so you can also reduce here, or you can multiply 3 by 22, that's 66. 66 by 7, 66 by 7 is going to be 42 here, that's 4. 42 again plus this one, which is 48. Then divide by 10, remember there's 10, so you just move 1 comma, so it's going to be 48,2 minus, you do the same here, half of 14, that's 7. Okay, sine 27, we have to move on to this information now that we are given. Sine 27 here, we are given sine 27 is 0.45. So whatever that you're going to have for sine 27 here is going to be 0.45. So that means we've got 7 times 14 times 0.45. Okay, 7 times 14, that would be 14 by 7, which is something like 98. If you multiply this, you're going to get 98 times 0.45, something like that. Okay, so 98 by 0.45, we've got 0 as a placeholder. 4 by 8, that is 32, 3, 36 plus, which is 39. By 5, that's 40 here. By 5, 45, which is 49. That's 0, 11. Give 1 here, that's 10 plus 4, which is 14. Carry 1, which is 4. Our main decimal places that we have 1, 2. So it's going to be 44,10, which is 44,1. So as you can see, we are supposed to subtract these two. 48,2 minus 44,1. So 2 minus 1, that's 1, 8 minus 4, that's 4, 4 minus 4, that's a 0. So it's going to be 4,1. So that's the area in square centimeters. So it was going to be 4,1 square centimeters. So if we okay, on number 24, we are now given here that it is given that y squared varies directly as x. Okay, so this direct variation that you are just given, y squared varies directly as x. So you just introduce a constant, so y squared is equal to kx. Then you are given the value of y, find whatever that you be given. So definitely for you to find this information, you must have the value of k, which is a constant, which connects the two variations. So in this case, we can have our y squared. We have given the value of y, which is 15. So that means 15 squared is equal to x, which is 25. So it's going to be 25k. 15 squared, that's 15 times 15, which is going to be 225, is equal to 25. Okay, so here we have got a 25k that we still have. So to find k, we just divide by 25 by 25. So that means k is equal to, so if we divide properly, 225 divided by 25, we must get something like 9 there. Yeah, that's 9. So k is 9. So that means we now have a relationship between y squared and x. That's y squared is equal to 9x. So this is the relationship that you're going to use now to calculate this first item and the second item. So on this first item, we are given that find the value of x if y is 12. So we are simply substituting. We want x when y is 12. So in place of y is going to be 12 squared. In place of y here, we're going to have 12 squared is equal to 9x. So 12 squared, that is 144, is equal to 9x. So to find x, simply divide by 9. So what is the value of x? 144 divided by 9, which is going to be something like 16. Okay, that's 9 here, which is 1 into, and we've got remainder of 5 into 54. Yeah, that's 16. So our x is going to be 16. Okay, then the value of y, if x is 4. So this is the b part. We are just substituting here. Y squared is equal to, we are now given x. So it's 9 times 9x means 9 times x, which is 4. So that means y squared is going to be 9 times 4, which is 36. So how now are we going to find the value of y? Just introduce the square root on both sides. The moment you introduce the square root, that means we've got the square root of 36, which is plus or minus 6. So therefore, your y can be equal to 6 or it can be a minus 6. So there were two possible answers, a plus or a minus. That was the condition of the question. So please understand how to simplify these equations. Okay. The straight line y is equal to 2x meets the curve of y is equal to x cubed minus 2x at 2 points. Form an equation in x and show that it reduces to. Okay, how do you form an equation? Whether you know these graphs or you do not know, whenever you're dealing with the point of intersection, at the point of intersection, the two graphs, they are equal. These two graphs, they are equal. Y and y will be equal. So which means you can equate x squared minus 3 is equal to 2x at the point of intersection. So I'm saying at the point of intersection, these two graphs, they will be equal. So to formulate an equation, you can just transpose here. It's going to be x squared. 2x to this side is minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So that was the first thing. Solve for b. So b now is to solve this equation. How can we solve the equation? You can just use our factorization. just have two brackets here. We've got x and x. Remember, we need the factors of -3. What are the factors of -3? But if we add these factors, we must get -2. So we've got -3 and 1. So these are the factors. X minus 3, x plus 1 is equal to 0. So from this part, it's either x minus 3 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0. So x becomes +3 if we transpose to this side, or our x is going to be -1 if we transpose to the other side of the equation. Okay, then the last question now is to find the coordinates of the 2 points of intersection. That is what I was saying, guys. At the point of intersection, remember these two graphs are equal. So the first point, we are just substituting into n of these two equations because these two equations are equal. Y is equal to 2x and y is equal to x squared minus 3. These two, they are equal. So to find the coordinates, we are referring to a point which is made of x and y. So already here, we have got the values of x here, or from these 2 points that we got 3 and -3. So the first point is going to be at x is equal to 2. The second point is going to be at x is equal to -1. So what is needed now, remember a point we said is made of x and y. So we are now supposed to find the value of y. So to find the value of y here, you substitute into any of these two equations because they are equal. So you can substitute this x, which is 2, onto this equation or onto this, we must obtain the same answer. All right, so I'm just going to substitute into any of these, any guys. Okay, so here I'm just going to use this one. That's 2 times 2 here, which is 4. So y is going to be 4. When x is -1, I just multiply 2 times -1 here, which is -2. So that's what I'm going to have at the end. So substitute into any one of those equations. We must actually obtain the same answers or the same values from the ones that we will be given. So make sure that we attempt this part. Oh, guys, this is x is equal to 3. Okay, I noticed here. So which means this point is wrong. All right, our x here is 3. I don't know which value I was taking there. X is 3. So it's 2 times 3 here, 2 times 3, which is 6. Yeah, okay. -1. Let's see, -1 here. -1, yeah, 2 times. Okay, so these are the points. I hope now it's fine. So whenever I talk about a point, remember that you are referring to x and y. So that is the major part that I wanted you to know here. All right. Number 26, we're given in the diagram ADC is a straight line. So we're given this is a straight line from A to D to C. And you've given an angle of 90 here and 23. Okay, that's fine. Using as much of the information given below, which is this information that we have here, calculate BD. So this is our BD. Which triangle can we use? Or what advantage can we just use advantage of BDC? It's a right angle triangle. We've got this angle of 23. This is your opposite, and 8 is your adjacent. So from your soccer tour, from our soccer tour there, we need opposite and adjacent. It's found on tan. So we are going to use tan here. Tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent, whereby tan theta, that is the angle of 23 degrees, is equal to the opposite, which is our BD. So that's BD over the adjacent, which is 8. So to calculate BD, just cross multiply 1 times BD. That's BD is equal to 8 times tan 23. That's 8 tan 23 degrees. So 8 times tan, which means we have to multiply tan 23, which is 0.42. So I've got 0.42. So 8 times 0.42, that's 8 times 2, 16. I've got 1 here. 8 times 4, which is 32, plus 1, which is 33. Our main decimal place is 1, 2. So it's going to be 3.36. This is area. This is BD, sorry, which is just in centimeters. So it's going to be centimeters. Okay, so that was the A part. So we now have this BD here. We got it as what? 3.36. Okay. The area of triangle ABC, that's A to B to C, which means we are referring to the whole of this triangle that we have here. So it's a non-rectangle triangle because if you are to take this angle here, if you are to add this angle, it's 23 plus 90, which is 90 plus 23, that's 111. But we do not have that angle because we're supposed to have our area like this. Area of a non-right angle triangle is half AB sine theta. So it's supposed to be half AB sine theta like this. So our area was supposed to be half of 6 by 8. These were the size 6 by 8 by sine 113 degrees. But we do not have this 113. So what do? We get back to this relationship. Remember, I spoke about this, that the sine of the acute angle is equal to the sine of the obtuse angle. If 113 is an obtuse angle, this one, what about the acute angle here? So you have to subtract 180 minus 113, all right, which is going to give us 67. So we've got 67, which is an acute angle here. So in place of sine 113, we are going to substitute sine 67. They've got same answers, these two. All right, so that means with this information, we can be able to calculate, because half of 6 is 3. 3 times 8, that is 24, times sine 67. We have it, sine 67 is 0.92. So you multiply by 0.92. So you have not waste much time. You just have to multiply by 0.92, guys, which is going to give us something like 22.08. 22.08. But you're not using calculators. Please never use a calculator there. All right, then the last part now is to find AC squared. What is going to be the value for AC squared? All right, so let's see, we've got our AC squared, in this case, AC from A to C. So you can even, as you use the bigger triangle, that one, we've got this angle. Remember, we say this angle is 113. So to find AC squared, definitely there's this concept from our cosine rule. A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC. Cos of what? Cos of A, which means AC squared is going to be this side, 6 squared and 8 squared, so 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 6 times 8 times cos of this angle, which is 113. But now you must take note for 113 when it is a cos like this. Cos 113, for cos, I remember I told you that cos, if it is an obtuse angle, it must give you a negative. Cos of an acute is equal to minus cos of the obtuse angle. Whenever you're given an obtuse angle, so you can even write from the obtuse so that it can make sense here. Cos of the obtuse angle is equal to minus cos of the acute angle. So here, the obtuse angle is 113. The acute angle is 67, which is the one that we have here. So we are going to take the value of cos 67, but this time we multiply by a negative. You put a negative. For cos and for tan, they carry negative. It's only sine which maintains its positive. So what does it mean? It means here we're going to write it as AC squared, 6 squared, that's 36, plus 64. So you say 36 plus 64 minus 2 times 6 times 8. So those ones just multiply 2 by 6 by 8. That's 96. So it's going to be 96 times cos 130 now. We are going to substitute cos 67, which is 0.39. But this has to carry a negative because cos obtuse is a minus of the cos that is an acute angle. All right, so from there, you can be able to simplify. 36 plus 96, that's something like 100. Minus and minus, now it's a plus. So you multiply 96 times 0.39. 96 times 0.39 will give us something like 37.44. So it's 37.44. We add 100 plus 37.44, which is 137. So it's going to be 137.44. So this is our AC squared. Take note, the question is asking us to calculate AC squared, not AC. If it was AC, then you put the square root, you leave your answer in set form. But this one, it was just AC squared, so you leave it like that. Okay, so actually that was the last part of the question. As we can see here, it was actually about 6 marks. So this was the last question there. So please, guys, make sure that you understand the concept of angles. On the relationship between obtuse and acute angle. This relationship has to be known. I explained about this relationship before, but you must know this relationship in advance about the acute angles and what obtuse angles. So whenever we're dealing with acute angles, we have got obtuse angles in this case. So whenever we're dealing with acute angles, all ratios in this case are positive. All ratios are positive, meaning to say sine is positive, cos is positive, tan is also positive. For obtuse angles, it's only sine which is positive. Only sine is positive, meaning to say sine will be positive, cos is going to be a negative, tan is also going to be a negative. It's only sine which is what? It's a positive. So that was the relationship that we're supposed to apply here. Knowing this relationship, it can take you far in understanding this concept. Okay, so anyways, guys, that's what we had from Mason African Motives, working on O-level mathematics, past exam papers as we are revising for the exams which are ahead of time. So never cease in revision. Let us revise as much as you can. We do not have time at hand now. So please do the best that you can to maximize on your revision. So that's it, guys. Till we meet again.